Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran and I want to check out the Netherlight Crucible and the upgrade system that has been added in 7.3. This is my first impression and I want to first take a look at exactly what this whole system is about, so I swapped to my main Outlaw to see this in more detail. This is another version of the upgrade system coming out in 7.3. I wanted to explore it a little bit because I just unlocked it while hanging out in 7.3 and take a look into it. I want to fill you guys in on exactly what it is, give my first impressions and talk a bit about it. And this is the first time I'm seeing it. Chances are you've seen other people discover this and look at it and explain about this, talk about this in other videos, but in this one, not only am I going to, I guess, discover it from an audience perspective and for my audience, but also I want to voice my opinions on the system to see what I think about it. So let's take a look into this right now. So you open it up and then you get access to attuning your artifact relics. So the relics that sit in you, but you're not attuning the relics themselves, not the actual item that's in here. For me, it's steadfast conviction, but the actual slot. So you basically buffing it. You see it has the number 1 here. So I can attune this and I can unlock all these extra traits. And I have one for netherlight fortification. So for this blood relic slot, now I have increased item level of your artifact by 5. So now I got, I guess, a 5 artifact item level increase because now it has a slot 1. Some of my other benefits here are, or some of the other upgrades, is what I want to take a look at and how the system works. And I want to see if I can attune all these other, oh yes, you can actually attune all these other pieces and you can now put points into them so you can see what every one of them does. We can take a look at blood, iron, and storm. I'm pretty sure this is iron. Yeah, this is iron. So we can see all these systems. I'm not 100% sure how this system works, so I want to first take a look at all the different buffs. As far as I understand, you go and follow the shadows or the light. Once you follow one or the other, I don't think you can go back unless you go and retrain it. Maybe you'll eventually unlock all of these. I have no idea how it works. I just want to take a look at these and talk about the system and what are some of the possibilities. So first one you have is the blood. If you go into the shadow, you get refractive shield. It's almost like, I want to say reflective, but it's refractive shield. Your spell and abilities have a chance to cause refractive shield absorbing 200,000 damage last 10 seconds. That's not a lot of damage, but I guess as you buff it, you probably increase the absorb. The other one is your versatility is increased by 2,500, which is one of the best stats for an Outlaw Rogue, while Concordance of Legion Fall is active. Now that's a massive damage buff when you think about it. So Murderous Intent. Once you get one of these, you kind of want to push for rank 3. You don't want to really get, I don't know if you can do light and shadow, or maybe you just can do only one. So you only one here, then you have 2 options, then each one will just have 2 options. But let's take a look at them. Fortune's Boon reduces the cooldown of a challenge by 31 seconds. To go refractive shield and another trait, basically another trait point to this would be, I don't think these, oh wait, hold on, I don't think a lot of these transferred over. Yeah, because these are just, unless you just basically buff your traits once more. Hold on, is that what you do? You basically put another point into your traits? Is that how they work? Hold on. There's a Wowhead article. Alright, so that is true. Okay. So with this we get Refractive Shield or Murderous Intent, and from there, I guess this has 2 options, this has 2 options. Again, not sure if you can get all 6 of them, or if you just get one line. But you have Fortune's Boon, which is the reduction of your artifact weapon. Gunslinger, which increases the critical strike chance of your pistol shot. That's no way to go. And then Sabermetrics. I think a lot of people will go this, because that's a DPS upgrade. Next one we have is the Iron one. You get 2 options here for light and dark. And I think it's left shadow, right dark. Maybe this is supposed to be flipped, because this is a shield. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be flipped. While Concordance of Legion Fall is active, your critical strike chance increased by 2,500. That's interesting. Or versatility increased by 2,500. While double versatility, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be this way. Maybe this is like its own system. But we'll have to see. And then you get Blade Dancer, Sabermetrics, or Fortune Strike. Let's take a look at the Storm. We have harmful spells and abilities have a chance to deal 116k additional holy damage. Your helpful spells and abilities have a chance to heal for 116. Or your spells and abilities have a chance to deal 60 to 300k shadow damage and heal you for that same amount. I feel like Chaotic Darkness would probably be a lot better. But you get your Fortune Strikes for extra traits for combat potency. Ghost of Shell, which you would probably never go unless PvP casters become insane. Or Fate's Thirst, which is your run-through damage. There's also an extra slot here, and some people have guessed maybe there'll be an extra trait for your like a legendary slot. That would suck because then it's like, oh, more legendaries, maybe now I gotta get one that helps all this. So this is the system that we're gonna have in 7.3. So far it's a confusing system and it doesn't explain itself well at all. It's a little bit weird because I feel like it's like trying to do a whole Warlords genre thing where it's like we're going back in time but just an alternate universe. Here you're gonna have to explain people multiple times. It doesn't change your exact relic, just the slot itself. So that's just weird. I feel like they should have just called it like attunements to your weapon, and you have like, you know, the blood, iron, and storm, which are like where your relics are at, instead of having like a icon with your relic there chilling, and you can see like this relic upgrades rank 2, because it makes people think it's relic. So the UI I feel like is kind of shit for it. All right, so every time you get a new relic, apparently, right? Every time you get a new relic, let's say I put another one in because I have one for Dreadblades, these change. So essentially you can actually get yourself to the point where you have your run, you have the desirable ability, and then you have your final ability, or final, I guess, relic slot, upgrading one of the more powerful pieces of your AP weapon. One of the more powerful pieces for me will be run through. So with some RNG, you could actually just replace your relics until you get what you need, and mine would be Face Thirst. I get 3 extra points into it, and maybe I would get Murderous Intent twice. That's a fuck ton of versatility when Concordance is active, already with agility, making me hit harder, and then my run through hits even harder. So in a way, you could actually probably just break your class by putting points into the artifact trait that's super fucking important to you. In a way, it's you're looking at a system that maybe more RNG will be added to this. So I need to go get myself a relic for Storm. Is there somewhere I can just go buy a relic for... If I had enough nether shards, I probably could do it right here, right now. 100. But I could get a lot more. I think I'll take my chances. That's like the fastest way. It's 100, but I could get a ton more. If I get 1, I swear to God. Swear to God. Better get like a fuck ton. Oh, you fucking kidding me. No, that did not just happen. I set my back 100 nether shards. Are you fucking joking, right? This is my luck. This is my luck. Damn. I'm at it. I can just throw away cheese. Okay, cool. We got the relinquished relic. Yes, doing this will make it unrefundable. I agree. Okay, let's go on. We got a storm relic. Cool, so we can actually test it fairly well. Okay, out we go. Okay, so we have a storm relic, storm relic. This current relic for our storm, the Fury of the Sea. We have Fortune Strikes, Ghost's Shell, and Fate's Thirst. Now, when we change this relic, I'm gonna slot this one in. What are the changes that we get? Attune. Alright, it does change. Even this part right here changes. When you take damage, you have a chance to generate Light's Embrace, stacking up to 5 times. Light's Embrace heals for... Okay, or you get your Chaotic Darkness. And we have a change to Fortune's Boon, Black Powder, Fortune Strikes. Alright, so let's talk about the system now. I think I have everything I need to talk about it. So let me go over the Netherlight Crucible, just to sum it up. You have a system of upgrading your artifact weapons and artifact traits. That is fine. You're going through the whole system and you're trying to explore more on what the weapons can do. And you're trying to give the, I guess, a little bit more of customization, because right now weapons have been really a linear progression. We don't really get to decide on things like talents and such. So here you're given more of an option. You can go with the light or dark, and you get to upgrade our weapons, and you get to, you know, get all the upgrades you upgrade in the slots, so the relics don't matter. So that's cool. But then what issue I have is with the buff choices, the RNG side of this, and with the fact that this is just so, I feel like it's poorly structured. I feel that UI doesn't explain you anything. So this player friendly isn't going to be all that friendly. Yeah, that's the biggest part, is this just does not explain you. I did the questline to unlock the one side and the other, and just right click, wow, you can just attune, and okay, now you can just start buffing your shit left and right, but it just doesn't straight up tell you exactly how this works. First of all, it's confusing, the fact that you see all of your relics. I feel like I said it should be like a blood attunement, iron attunement, storm attunement. Just take out the relic, because that confuses the people of the back, confused me like hell. In this part, I feel like just increase the armor level, your artifact. I feel like more text could be added, thus increase in stats or something. And then the choices are pretty shit too. So second row, you get a choice of like at random. They seem to be random. Refractive shield gives you a random shield for 10 seconds. Or versatility when you concordance procs. If you're a DPS character, this is pretty straightforward. If you're a tank, I feel like this is straightforward. And even if you're a healer, I feel like some classes like a healer or a tank might have some options, but for DPS it's pretty straightforward. As an Outlaw Rogue, I'm not gonna be like, oh wow, an absorb? Wow, I could be like a really absorb Outlaw Rogue. I can be like a Disc Priest Outlaw. You know, they're not gonna get that kind of idea. You're just gonna go for damage, because otherwise you basically are deciding to dip out on damage. And the worst part of this is you get another trait into your weapons. Now, this isn't that bad. The fact that it's RNG though, the worst part about this is it's RNG. It's casino style. You slot in a point. Let's say you get the best relic, and you go farm that same raid and get literally multiples of that relic. Every time you slot it in, you get a different pathing. You get different of row 2. You get a different of row 3. As an Outlaw Rogue, you can basically build for your maximum best trait. Like for me, it would be Fate's Thirst. More damage for a run through means more single target damage, more AoE damage. Just overall, I'm hitting harder. So basically, you would have some guy who would literally go and run an RNG re-roll until he gets this perfect path of Murderous Intent and Fate's Thirst with his relics. Back to back to back to back to back. And you would get it for this one, this one, and this one. Now you have that relic that's stacking on, let's say, they're hardcore min-maxing. You have 4 points for your artifact weapon. You have 3 relics, so that's 3 more 7. You have from this crucible, which 3, that's 10. Now Blizzard's like, okay, we're gonna nerf this because it's too strong. They're not gonna blame the system of 7.3 that they created, where they can stack some kind of artifact trait to almost like insane numbers, where it's just unproportionally scaling super high. Instead, they're gonna probably nerf the rate at which you get all these ranks, with the idea that, oh, everybody's gonna want to get 10 of this point, so we might as well nerf the rate to balance it out, but give people the ability to progress. Let's see, and then your average Joe that's not unlucky in a raid never can get the right relics. Now his Fate's Thirst just hits less, and it hits less for PvP. And you don't need to do this with Outlaw Rogue. You can do this with any other class specialization of your preference as a viewer. Just think of your favorite spec. Think of a trait that helps out tremendously for that spec. And then think Blizzard just nerfing the rate at which you gain it, just because somebody decided to min-max it for, you know, getting world boss first or getting furthest with Mythic Plus, and bam, now it nerfed it. Can literally affect anybody. You have this ring that just is not explained well. Insignia of the Grand Army. Increase the effectiveness of light and shadow powers granted by another by 50%. What does that 50% mean? Is it 50% like what? 2,500 plus 50% of that, and that's your versatility? Is it 200k absorb that you would get plus 50% of that together? That's the amount of effectiveness you would gain. What about this right here, like sabermetrics and your other traits? Like, would you get like 0.5 of a point or something? So then you'd be like, let's say you have 20, you put in point 25, and then it would be like, oh, 25 and point plus 2.5 or something. I really just don't understand here what they mean by that. And then there's an extra gem slot here, and a lot of people are saying, hey, this could be a legendary slot. Wow, so cool. It's like, what if now they will have legendary gems that we gotta put in, or whatever slot we have here, and they're all RNG. They could literally buff another artifact trait. It could be another buff, like, hey, just buff Fate's Thirst, because fuck it, why not? I feel like it's just a confusing system they set up. They definitely need to do some kind of a fucking video guide walkthrough on how to do this properly, or simplify this and make it just a straightforward path. I feel like if they do want to make this option of choice, they are trying to go for this, oh, you can build however you want yourself, but they're ultimately setting themselves up to either get someone nerfed or get a class or get some kind of mechanic completely nerfed to the fucking ground. And they're setting up this thing where it's like, wow, you're setting up this casino RNG thing. People already dislike the RNG in the game. Even though it's there, and even though they made changes to it so it doesn't impact you as much, like whatever legendary you get usually still affects you not as much in DPS loss or DPS gain. Definitely helps in some cases, improves your rotation, others not really, but it doesn't really hold you far back. You're setting up yourself for another system to break apart whatever you have now, and then you're probably gonna nerf it down so then it doesn't affect people as much. You're gonna feel like you're setting up this thing and they definitely need to do a look at it. I feel like a lot of people need to express what could be differently done with this system. But this is what I got so far. It just seems like an RNG casino machine where you slot your relics in until you get a right combination. And once you get the right combination, you just set the right setups to basically break your class, and then Blizzard will probably need to go nerf it in the future. And there we go. Wonderful. I don't really know. I don't understand this all that well, but this is what I got from it so far. If it's a bad system and nobody likes it and they remove it, well, good riddance. If they can improve it to make it better, then yeah, that's awesome, because I want to see more improvement and more things to do with our artifact weapon. But the way it's set up right now, I'm not a huge fan of this. I like the idea of it, of improving this weapon system, but with the whole RNG thing so far, and I feel like it's just not fully polished, if this went live, I'd be pretty upset, and I would be pretty unhappy with how it is set up right now. Anyway, you guys, let me know in the comments below, all that jazz. I'll see you guys in the next video.